I'm so passionate. I will jump way ahead of everything. Okay, my name is Laura Jarvis. I'm with the Bandera Road Rainbow Gardens. Okay, well we're going to start from the beginning. Have any of you done any terrariums or like very small things? A few of you? Okay. That kind of is very similar. Does anybody have any bonsais? No? Okay. Okay, well this is very similar. Okay, so we're going to use kind of techniques that kind of go from one to the other to the other. Okay, so what you're going to learn here today, if you want to, you can be able to make a little dish garden or a little terrarium. A totally closed-in terrarium is just a little bit different. We won't have time to go into that too much. But if you do have questions after the class, I'll be happy to help you out there. Bonsai and miniature gardens could be very, very similar depending on how much you're getting into it and the types of plants you're using. There's basically two different things that I think about before I even start. Number one, where do I want it? Okay. Number two, the size. Okay. You can plant them for outdoors, and these plants right here do very, very well. I like to choose plants, if it's going to be outside all the time, something that's going to be maybe evergreen in the winter, something that will take the winter so that I don't have to worry about covering it up. I don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, it's going to freeze, or if it freezes to the ground, because you've worked very hard to get the look that you want. So you don't want to put a plant in there that's going to die and then you have to start over. Okay? So the ginger will stay green all winter long. It's a great plant. The worst thing that happens with this is it spreads too much and you have to clip it back or uproot. Chocolate chip. If you're using a juga, you need chocolate chip. This is the miniature one. And it has the cutest little purple flowers in the springtime. It usually won't bloom all summer, but it has that neat bronze color, so that'll give you some textural differences. It really doesn't get very high. The blooms come up on it, but it's going to spread this way. So over time, you may have to cut that back with a little trowel or something, trim it back, but it's perfect because you don't have to do a lot with it. It takes the winter. This little snow rose, little boxwoods, miniature myrtles, dwarf myrtles, all of those are going to, this looks like a germander maybe, they're going to, a different type of snow rose. Okay. All of these are really cool because they're evergreen. The snow roses will give you cutest little flowers during the summertime, and you can trim these into either a little bush or a little tree. So these are really, really great for your outdoor ones. These almost need daily water, especially outside, especially during the heat. In the winter time, we can slack off a little bit. In the summer, we're going to want to give them lots and lots of water. Bigger area. This is a good one. If you've got a little small area, it can go a little bit too fast. So make sure if you use this one to, understand its growth habit. It's going to spread really fast. Sometimes it's not the best one for these. This is silver ponyfoot. It's a type of spreading microrhiza. Okay. So the other type of fairy garden would be tropical, something that you would keep indoors all the time. All of these types of plants here, you're not going to have them indoors. The outdoor plants really don't do well. And if if somebody's bought one or they're getting ready to make one, get your place first. If you're going to do them indoors, use all tropicals. Another thing you can use that works really, really great, they hold their size terrifically well, and that's the little succulents. You can get, little 2-inch succulents. They're not expensive, and they will work really, really well in the fairy gardens. In fact, when we do our fairy garden classes for the kids, or little birthday parties or things like that. We'll make a little bitty 6-inch, like one of the 6-inch pot or smaller. And then the little succulents will work right. She could put 1 or 2 little succulents, a couple little things in there, and then it just looks so cute.
It does until the cat decides to
Yeah.
eat them all.
Everybody wants one, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Now the tropical plants, give me a list of things that for indoors.
That will work for you?
Mm-hmm.
I like the little bitty palms. That'll give you some height. I try and do a layered, just like you would an outdoor landscape or a pot, containerized blooming plants or something else. I like to get different heights so that you've got some interest. So I use a little palm or a little mini podocarpus or something very small that gives you the height. And then I'll get something a little bushy looking, like maybe a little peperomia, something like that. And then they have little, oh my goodness, probably 4 or 5 or 6 different varieties of peperomias that can be used, and they work really, really great because they stay small. I like the big ivy or some small leafed ivies for your arbors or on a trellis. Like if I was going to do something of that nature, I would put that little arbor in, and I would let that little vine, I would train it up. So it would look just like a, little one that would be in your landscape. So you can plant little fig ivy and train him up here. I use a little piece of teeny wire and attach him on there so he'll stay where he belongs. Or this one is a really cool one because you can kind of twine your plants in and it'll make them stay just like a big trellis would. So that's a really good plant. Let's see. Polka dot plants can be pretty good if they get enough light. That gives you a whole lot of color. You can keep them trimmed into a bush. What else? There's several other things, and usually when you get mixed tropicals in, there just will be in there. You're pretty much okay if you're picking the small ones. They're not going to last forever. The pot itself, just like a big outdoor plant, is going to dwarf it. When it gets too big, 3 years from now or 4 years from now, go ahead and transplant that into another pot for your shelf or your kitchen or wherever, and start over with something miniature. When you're working with these types of things, you can always go back and clip them. You can always keep them the same height so you don't have to replace them. And that's
Do they get root bound in a pot that size?
They can. What will generally happen, that's a really good question. What will generally happen, say you had something like this planted for a very long time. This biggest plant will tend to get root bound and almost eat up the soil in the room so that the little plants don't have any place to go. And at that point, you're going to take this out, trim those roots, put a little extra soil at the bottom, re-put him down in there, and that's exactly what they do with bonsais. You're going to put him back down in there. His root ball is going to be about like this again. Trim off the top, trim out the base of it, put him back, and put your fresh flowers in there. And that will get you back to scale and get the whole thing centered again. Yes, and you could use the same pot, and you could virtually use your main plant for years and years and years. It's very easy to do. Okay, before I start, we're gonna play with this one right here. This was kind of a demo for us. Now we can kind of start and mess with it. Can you see how it looks like a big tree, but it's not? So that's what we go for. What I will always do is I will pull this down. I'll expose some of the top roots. That's going to make it look a little older, okay? That's going to give it a lot more character. A lot of times I will stick a piece of wood or a rock or something in one of the roots. I like to expose just a little bit of some of those bigger top roots on there. Can you guys see that?
Oh.
Nah, it'll be okay. Yeah. Most of the roots that are going to feed this are going to be right through here, okay? If you have to get it to work in one of the gardens, you can also take some of the soil off the bottom. See how many more roots are right through the middle than at the bottom? If a plant's overgrown in its pot, and sometimes you will get them that way in the nursery, it'll be bound up at the bottom. It'll be completely root bound. That will set your plant back just a little bit, but it'll come out of it. So you can go ahead and make that whatever size you need for the container. So some of you guys have some real little ones, but you're not going to use something this big in those. For some of the ones that we've done, you're going to do, like say we put this one in here, I'm going to kind of measure whatever plant I'm using to the size of container I've got, and then I'm going to adjust the size. I like the bigger trees to stick up just a little bit. Some people may not like that look. You don't have to have it even if you want. But what you want is to create interest. So if you do that, remember how I was saying different layers? If you do that, all of a sudden that looks like a hill. You know, and you can do different things. You can put a little bit of the brown cover next to it, so it looks like real ground cover. You could put a little moss, you could put a little gravel or some rocks or different things like that. So what you want to do is be creative. Be you. You guys don't, you don't have to be me. Be you. Do what you like. And what you guys like may not be what somebody else likes. Okay, but don't be afraid to try different things, because that's how you learn it. So you're going to make that the size you want. Then, after I get the size I want, I look at that and I imagine it big. And what you're going to mainly do on any of these is take out all of the fatness. You're going to take out the fullness, and you're going to expose, first thing, the main branches, because you want those to look like they're old. You will have to get a little hand pruner or a strong pair of scissors. You cannot use a big pair of pruners for this because, and I'm going to do this quickly, I would probably be a little more picky about how the little side shoots looked. You know, I wouldn't want them as close to the main stems as I can get them. But because I'm going to do this really fast today, it's not going to look as tight against the stems as I would normally do it. Expose all of your main branches, okay? All the fullness out of it. You don't want shrubbiness in the middle, okay? It just, exactly, exactly. So get all of that out of there. This is a snow rose. It's an evergreen. It has cute little white flowers. Now in a yard I might not want branches that are crossing. That's something you decide. Maybe I really do want it crossing like that. Maybe it looks more natural. Maybe it looks a little weird. Maybe it creates a little bit of interest. You know, I don't know. I think I might leave it. I think it's kind of interesting. But I don't like this one because it gets in the way of being able to see some of these real interesting branches. So, what do y'all think? Is it starting to look maybe a little more like a big tree? you get those off of there, how all of a sudden it looks like a big tree that's a miniature instead of a little shrub that's too small. You can also do this with the little Mexican heathers. They will trim out kind of interesting. Some types of thyme will actually give you a woody stem. You can trim those out. Rosemary can be done that way. If you're really into it and you're not afraid, bougainvilleas, but they want to be in the sun, so you'd have to make one for the sun. But you can miniaturize bonsai of a bougainvillea, and they're really cool. They've got a real woody stem. I love this little curb stem right here. So what do y'all think? See, you can do that, right?
I didn't know that's how you did it. I was like,
Well, that's
how do they make it look like a tree? And
that's what you needed to learn.
Yeah.
See, it's easier than you thought, isn't it? Okay, so now once I have him and he's trimmed out, I would probably trim out a little more of that stuff along the stems there. Then I'm going to place it. When I do a garden, I always place my biggest plant first. Why would you do that?
See how much room you have left.
That's a good point, but that's not usually why. I usually do that because almost always that's your focal point. Okay, so you want to work out from a focal point, whether it's a big garden in the yard or a little bitty one or a little terrarium. Okay, what's your focal point?
Pots that are broken, and it kind of like comes down like a stair. How do you keep the soil in there from it?
That's a good question, because if you guys want to make one of those, it's really, really cool. Really cool. It's just a regular broken pot. We didn't do anything special. They came in, a couple of them were broken. I'm looking at them going, this looks really good. I think we'll do something with this. So I use the sheet moss, and I find a long continuous piece of sheet moss. If the packages don't have one that's big enough, you can contact me. Sometimes I get them in bulk, and I have a bigger layer of it. So it comes like this. I'm gonna get in front here. Just scooch by. So what you're gonna do is basically the moss is gonna be the side of the pot. I use a lot of these kinds of things when I make them. You can go out in your yard, you can pick up sticks, you can pick up rocks, you can just, all kinds of things that don't cost a whole lot, and use those when you're making these. Well, I went out to our flagstone, and I picked up all these small pieces at either garden center. I think we have them. If you get a handful of these, they don't cost anything. It's pennies. So what you're going to do is you're going to put that moss in the empty place on the pot, wrap it around, and you're going to start from the bottom to fill that with soil. Okay, so the soil is tamped down. You push it down in small little layers as you go up. Okay, and then you stick a rock in there to hold the moss and the soil in place. And then you can do something with that. You can put a berry, you can plant a little plant, you can do anything like that around that rock as it goes in there. And that's going to hold your soil. It's just, think about these little gardens kind of like you would do big landscaping. It's really, really similar.
You know, when it sets a big piece of broken shard out of the pot, they take and start some soil, stick that in there, and hot glue or something that to the big shard of the broken terracotta piece, and then do what you're talking about, so that
Yeah.
has something to adhere to.
Yeah, it's a lot of times the glue will come, it just comes unstuck over time because this isn't really like a solid piece. It will help at first. And the older it is, the more the roots and stuff will start to hold everything together too. So it'll get you started good, but it usually won't be strong and hold tight over a long period of time. Yeah, anything like that you can use. Even if you want to build a big hill, and your root ball isn't strong enough and your soil starts to move, especially in the big ones outside. I've had a lot of people come in and say, well, I built this big one outside and it rains and the water just ruins it. So make sure you're building it like you would an outdoor landscape. You guys would be really good at that. It's like, okay, do my 2x4s, do my timbers and all of that, do my rocks and get everything in place so that soil isn't going to move. You could actually do some screening, especially, and I've done that before, little small pieces of screen. Make your hill, put a couple of rocks in, a little piece of wood down under it, and then put that fencing, that screening, and then add your moss last, and that would really, really help outside. Yes, anything like that. Even chicken wire is going to help.
Well, I use
Yes.
landscape fabric, the real high quality.
That works too.
To do it, and then you put moss over it with a fence.
Yes. Yes, I've seen that done too. That's a really good point. Yeah, anything like that that's going to hold that soil, so when you have those heavy rains, it doesn't start washing away. Because the last thing you want is to get, all of this time invested and the money and all of the fairy garden stuff. And it's all beautiful, and here comes a rainstorm. So, we can't help it if we're having torrents. That's probably going to damage most of them. But, in an average rainstorm, if we start and think of how we're building them, we should be pretty good on that. Little rabbit trails, that was good. A really good question.
What do you recommend for
There's a lot of things that look really cool. Of course, the nandinas. You can get, the little 1 gallons, and you can, kind of strip them down and make them look how you want. There's some types of Oregon grape hollies that they look almost like a little palm when you trim them out. Those work really good. Custom evergreen things. I like natal plum a lot because they'll look really old and they'll have all of these weird little twists in their stems and stuff. A natal plum, it's really a nice little plant. It has evergreen leaves that are kind of rounded. When it blooms, it has a little white fragrant flower. Be careful when they get older, they can kind of have some thorns on them, but they trim out really cool. Boxwoods, those types of things. I don't do much with deciduous stuff because I want to see the green in the winter, even in the orientals. And then put some really interesting rocks, textures, sands, small gravels, stuff like that, and a little oriental figure. I think both garden centers carry those. So, and that makes all the difference really bad. I've got his little roots exposed just like we did. It's really neat. It sticks way up over here. Then I'm going to add my mosses. Okay? Now, at that point, I'm kind of working on how is all this going to go together? Because you might be at a little standstill at that point. It's like, what do I do now? Well, you grab something and you place it and you decide whether you like it. And don't be afraid. You know how you decorate the house? The guys always complain because they say the women tells them to move it 14, 15 times. These are real easy to move that many times. So take that, say, okay, so this is one of my things. Well, maybe I want him, I don't know, maybe, how about like right there? I'm gonna add a couple little things real quick. These are different possibilities, guys. And I'm gonna show you how fast you can change a look, okay? So we're gonna just real quickly look at a bunch of different things and see what you think. These are easy. little stepping stones. You can get the colored ones if you like lots of color, or you can go outside and find some, or you can come in here and pick up some little chips of something like this. You can make staircases with those, little pieces of wood. I'm sorry, you guys are going to get blocked here just a bit. But all of a sudden you can make the cutest little walk down the side of this, down to my little well. Put a couple of these little shrooms in wherever you want them. And I might put another plant in there, or I might do a little pond. You could put a little saucer, and you could make a little pond there. Cover the sides up with moss. You could do a number of things. You could put another patio, maybe, down at the base. Put it like this. That. You've got room for somebody down here. Or you could put a flowering plant. Love these little guys. Maybe I want to move this up a little bit and put another little plant right here. Just get real inventive with it and try different things. Okay, watch this. Okay, so this is a completely different look. Look how different does that look. Okay. I wish I could get out of the way just a tad, but nice to see. Just change a couple of things, right? See how cute that is? And you could actually do a rock if you wanted to. Just stick a little flat stone in. I like to stick them in the side again, like I was telling you before, so that it looks like it's growing there. And then you can put whatever you want right there. It's not really flat, but it's close. Okay. See how cute that is? You can put it in. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And you know what? If you're doing the larger ones, let me give you some tips, okay, guys? How much are the great big bags of the pea gravel? $4.99? $3.99? Okay. How much is the little bitty box of the pea gravel? $4.99. Okay, which one do you want? I want the big bag. More is better. Sand. If you want to put maybe a sand pathway, put little pebbles on each side of it. Make a sand. How much is a big bag of sand? $4.99. How much is a little bag of sand?
$5.99.
Yeah, exactly. You got it. So, shop smart when you're doing these, especially if you're doing the outside stuff. Go to the bigger hardscape. What can I get? The flagstones. Oh my gosh. All those things. Go to the river rock. Pick out 4 or 5 river rocks. Take them home. Your little haul. I spent 15 cents instead of buying, something expensive. Another tip that is going to save you a bunch of money, especially when you're making the fairy gardens for the kids, go out and collect some rocks that are light in color. Stuff like this. You can do either paints or you can do markers. The paints last longer. Get you some little acrylic paints. And the girls can put whatever they want on there. The boys can put their names. You can put faith. You can put believe. You can put fairy garden. You can put no boys allowed. No girls allowed. No squirrels allowed. You know, you can put anything you want on these, and they look so cute. You can draw little pictures of flowers, little pictures of butterflies, little squirrels. You can get real inventive and make the cutest things. And then look, you had something on there. You can put that right in the beginning. You know, this one doesn't quite fit this. You might want to get one that fits to start with. Put that in there. Have it say something across the front here. And it would be really, really cute. Yes, you can put Jay's Fairy Garden, you know. So that's a really fun thing to do, especially if you're doing little projects with the, you know, grandkids or whatever, you know, the next door neighbor's kids. So try that. That's a lot of fun. If you're going to do it on the limestone, make sure you wash it really, really, really good. And you may even want to spray it with something so it will adhere. Some of these other, like these little smooth river rocks, if they're clean, it will actually stick to it pretty good. So you don't have too much problem with these. It's the flaky limestone that you have a little more trouble with. Have you guys ever seen the little itsy bitsy teeny stuff, especially like in the little glass containers and stuff, like on Pinterest or anything? Yeah, just a little, like a little miniature terrarium that's maybe in a little glass bowl or jar or
I've only made one, and I made one with it just
yeah,
succulent.
right. Well, the really small ones almost always die because there's just not enough of anything for you to get in there. Well, a cute little tip is to make it not rain. You can use sand and gravel. You can use little rocks. You can put little things in there that are very miniature. You can put a little fairy in there. And where'd my fairy go? Did she leave already? Okay, here she is. She flew the coop. You can put little things in there and use your mosses so that you have this itsy bitsy little teeny miniature glassed fairy garden. You know, I know you've seen like little brandy snifters or different things like that. You can make one without a real live plant in it, and it'll look real. The mosses inside, like maybe a bathroom where you can't grow stuff, that will stay colored out really nicely for a very long time.